Thanks for coming. Thanks for coming today. I appreciate Dr. Matchin's remarks. He has been tremendously supportive of myself and my family for over the last 7 years. I have great love for the University of Florida, and I'm very proud of what Dr. Matchin, Jeremy Foley, how they have helped us, what we've accomplished here at the University of Florida. I'm stepping down as a head football coach at the University of Florida to focus on family and my other interests away from the sidelines. I would be glad to answer your questions for you at this time.
Robbie.
Coach, when did you make your decision, and will you coach again at some point, or do you know yet?
The decision was, last year was a wake-up call, and early this week I had a visit with Jeremy about some thoughts I was having, and then made the decision just yesterday.
And will you coach again, or is that something you'll think about later?
I'll think about that later at the immediacy, no.
Pat over to the left.
Urban, when you left a year ago, you talked about family as well. Do you regret coming back and spending that whole year?
No, I love Florida. I got the best bosses in the country with Jeremy and our athletic director. I got a great staff, and that was a knee-jerk reaction to a situation, and at the timing was not right. I don't know if timing's ever perfect, but at least this way you get a new coach on board, help recruiting, and move forward.
Andy, and then Tom.
Coach, you may have just touched on it, but I was hoping you might be able to expand on what was different about when you came to the decision this time versus when you came to it last year.
Last year, like I said, it was a knee-jerk reaction, a lot of emotion in our family. We have a very tight-knit family. My daughter came home from college and found out what happened, and that was you can only imagine for those of you who have children. And then this year was just completely different. I'm doing, I think, what's best for the University of Florida, for our players, and for, obviously, myself and our family.
Tom, behind Andy.
Urban, we ask for a simple reason for a complex decision, but why?
Why? That is fairly simple. I think sometimes we make it far too complex. At the end of the day, I'm very convinced that you're going to be judged on how you are as a husband, as a father, not if you know how many bowl games we won. And I've not seen my two girls play high school sports. They're both very talented Division I-A volleyball players, so I missed those 4 years. And I missed 2 already of one away at college. And I was blessed in a family that never missed anything. And so I can't get that time back. And I made a commitment to them that when we came here, I was going to make sure they graduate from the same high school. We've done that. I made a commitment to them recently that I'm going to get to enjoy the best years of their life, and that's right now.
Edward over to the left.
Coach, as far as recruiting goes, how have you talked to recruits that are committed, uncommitted?
Yeah, that's the tough
where do
part.
they kind of go from here?
Well, I talked to a handful of them already. I'm going to make a bunch of calls here tonight and tomorrow. Florida's Florida. Florida always will be Florida. Even last year with the issues, we put together a great class. We have great coaches here. I'm sure the coaching candidates will be fantastic, and we just got to get moving. And obviously with all this early signing and everything, timing's of essence a little bit. Absolutely, I'll help. Full speed ahead.
Mark, over to the right here, Coach Mark.
Urban, there were absolutely no health concerns this time, and were you able to put in as much commitment as you had in the past after last year's scare?
As much?
Time, effort?
Oh, yeah, yes. To say that there wasn't a scare or there wasn't, that'd be incorrect. There was. But that's not the reason for this conference.
Mike in the middle. Mike.
Urban, you said after the Florida State game that you're going to get this thing fixed and rebuild this thing. What changed after that game? And also just talk about the irony that your last game is going to be the Outback Bowl and Joe Paterno is going to be the one that's not retiring.
Someone made a comment that if Coach Paterno would have stepped down at my age, it would have been 1972 or something like that. We're actually great friends, and I can't wait to see him. I think I see him tomorrow. Mike, your first part of the question?
After the Florida State game, you said you were going to
get this
thing fixed, get it rebuilt.
Well, it has to be fixed. It's broke a little bit right now. But the way you fix it is hard work. And when I say broke, it's broke because of constant attrition of coaches who, God bless them, they've gone on to be great head coaches. You know, throughout college football, I think someone said we have 10 that have been on my staff over the last 10 years. So I've obviously been very fortunate to have the best coaches in America, and they're proving it on their own. You lose 5 juniors to the NFL draft, and then you have that little bit of a void in there right now. But it's Florida. We'll be back stronger, in my opinion, stronger than ever. We have the facilities. We have everything in place now to do that. And so it's going to be a great young team. I mean, this is not like a bare knuckles situation we're in.
What changed from the Florida State game, though, until now? I guess you thought after that game you were going to be better?
Yes, I did, and just family discussions. You know, my best friends up in Georgia Tech, and my other best friends, high school seniors. So some very deep family discussions.
Jason, over to the left.
Urban, is it harder for you at all to leave after a year like this rather than a more
little bit.
successful year? Does that eat at you a little bit?
Yeah, it does. I just think Florida deserves the best, and I'm not sure we gave them our best this year. But there's never perfect timing, you know, and so it does. But
And when did you meet with your players, and what was that like?
that was tough. I met with them today at 2 o'clock. We have a couple of our guys here, and for the most part, they're very gracious, and I just want to do this thing right, and let's send the senior, you know, one of the winningest classes in the history of Florida football, send them out winners against Penn State.
Mike up front here, the right Mike. Go ahead, Mike.
I'm a little confused. You said earlier that there wasn't a health issue this year as well? No, there wasn't. That was what you were talking about from last season.
Right.
Buddy, over to the left.
Urban, I think it was 6 years ago in this room, you came in and you had a little light in your eye.
6 years in one day.
6 years in one day, and
Right.
I could be wrong, but I think I see that light today in your eye a little differently. You look like you're relieved, and you look like you feel good about your decision.
I can't even begin to tell you how much I appreciate what this university's done for myself and my family, and more importantly, one of the great, I've gotten I want to say 175 text messages, and a good chunk were from Ryan Stamper and some of the great players I've had the fortune of coaching here, and to think what they have built. I mean, it's kind of cool to walk around the stadium and see that, well, we didn't build it. We kind of built upon what they did in the 90s and this great tradition. And I think, you look at the 06 team, they'll go down as one of the most overachieving, hardworking teams you've ever had. The 08 team would probably go down, in my opinion, I'm a little biased, as one of the great teams in college football history. You can see what all they're doing across the NFL now. And when you look at the statistics of that team, I mean, it's hard to say that's not one of the top 3 or 4 teams in the history of the game. So a lot of great memories, and very proud of what we've done.
Quick follow-up, just want to say, last time you had a walk with Mickey Marotti out there, and you guys talked about the program. You changed your mind. Why did you change your mind that day, and why haven't you changed your mind this time?
Number one, I changed my mind as far as staff and our players, which most of our decisions have always been about that. And the timing for my boss was not appropriate, was not a good time. That was, like I said, that was a Christmas decision when everybody got together and when the details came out of everything that happened in December. So once again, there's not a perfect time. However, this is probably about as good a time as you can have.
We're going to go Dennis in the back and then Rachel before we move along to Jeremy Foley. Dennis?
Urban, could you have foreseen the drop-off in the offense this year, and what did happen in hindsight, do you think?
I did not see I saw a drop-off. I didn't see the drop-off that we had. I'm not sure it's the time to discuss there's a multitude of reasons, from injuries to lack of execution to whatever, but there were a lot of reasons.
Rachel in the middle and in the back. Rachel?
How much did this season's struggles factor into this, and do you have any regrets about coming back for this year?
Oh, no, not at all. Not at all. I don't think the struggles this season, you can fix struggles. You know, if it was a different timing in my family's lives where they weren't involved in sports and involved in all the things that a dad should be at, then it might be different. But I want to make clear that's it. That's the reason. And I think last year was a wake-up call. And to see my beautiful daughter Gigi over there sign a national letter of intent to go to Florida Gulf Coast, and I've not seen the school yet. And I guarantee I'm going to go see it.
Wrap it up in the back. One final question before we bring Jeremy Foley up here. Question in the back.
Urban, right over here. Right in the back, sorry. WCJB. How involved are you going to be now that your girls are already in college and your son is still kind of coming up with the sporting events?
Well, I'm going to put a resume together, and I'm going to try to be a Gator Ball assistant baseball coach this spring. And I've not put a resume together in a long time, so I got to have a little help with the interview process too. Try to help him out a little bit.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, guys.